Hello, beautiful people. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for, the skin masterclass. So let's just dive in, right? Let's do this. So first of all, the skin. Like we know, skin is the largest organ we have on the body, and it protects all the internal organs that we can see vividly on our face, see vividly everywhere. And so skin is a big part of living, not even just makeup, not just beauty. It is a big body. So let's just go in. So first off, let's talk about skin in relation to beauty, makeup. We have three basic type of skin. Some people have come up with theories that there are about 10 of them, but for me personally, I choose to adapt three basic skin type, which is the oily, the combined skin, and the dry skin, which is the three basic skin type. We have all the types: the hypersensitive, the normal skin, so many theories, but this is the three basic skin type I adapt. So how do we know that we want to work on somebody with a dry skin, oily skin, or combined skin? Why do we even need the knowledge of these skin types? It is because our makeup products, most of them are not orchestrated or not produced to work on all skin types. So we need to know the skin type so that our makeup can last longer, look healthier, and look richer, and we can maintain a good tonal balance and quality. So when people see the makeup is not just looking all dry or color off, the tone is not matching. We just need to know these things so that our clients can enjoy our services and look beautiful and look luxurious. That is what we want to get, a luxurious looking skin. So like I said, there are three basic skin types, which is the oily skin, the combined skin, and the dry skin. So how do we identify someone with an oily skin, a dry skin, and a combined skin? During the course of the class, I'm going to shed more light on them, but now I'm going to share the little I can over the theory session. So people with oily skin tend to have more open pores on the T-zone. So the face is divided into particular two sides, which is the C-zones and the T-zones. The T-zones are the straightforward places of the face, straightforward angles, which is here and here. Those are the T-zones. While the C-zones are the bends and the curves and the shadow areas, which is here, 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 basically everywhere that has curves and diagonals. Sorry. And diagonals. Those are the C angles. So an oily skin is someone who has more open pores on all diagonal angles of the face, which is the T-zones, which is here, here, and the C-zones. So when somebody has that kind of skin, when somebody has pores open on all those areas, they are more prone to oily skin texture. But another thing is, skin types are not permanent. Your clients might not have a dry skin for a long time. So people are... So guys, I'll be using this foundation from ZKL Foundation and EDV Beauty. Both of them are Nigerian brands. And I'll be using a beauty blender. I don't know where I got this beauty blender from. I don't know where I got this beauty blender from, but I'm sure you can get from Beauty Connoisseur on Instagram. I'm going to drop all these handles I'm mentioning right here. So I'm taking a bit of this. So this is very, very dark, as you can see. So this definitely cannot be a shade. Imagine using this all over the skin. So this is like a dark shade of brown. So undertones, they migrate. Some can be very brown, some can be mid brown, some can be dark brown. They migrate into each other. So you need to understand the migration of undertones. And I would advise you guys go on the internet, read about it, because I can't definitely be pointing out everything I know about undertones and matching right here and now. So this is very dark. This is very dark. Imagine using this on her. You can see this is not matching straight up with the neck. So we do not want that. So what do? We want to match this place, and this place together. If we judge by the color of here, looking at it, it looks like it is even the same color with the actual foundation. So imagine just using the judgment of the overtone that we can see on the skin to make our foundation decision. That would be a very big mess, a very big no. So we want to use, so I'm going to be using the Beauty foundation. This is a lot lighter and still not light enough. Wow. Actually, still not, actually not that dark skin. Give me infallible, please. But let me try this. So I'm going to be using this shade right here all over the skin. I think this is beautiful though. So this is Lady V Beauty foundation in ebony, and this is the shade of brown. These two are in the family of the brown undertone, but this is the darker shade of brown and this is the lighter shade of brown. So if I use something like this, I can use something like 2 shades lighter. When you use 2 shades lighter to conceal, I see some people after using this, they come and use something like this to conceal. This is not 2 shades lighter than this. This is like 5 or 6 shades lighter than our skin tone. They are like a lot of browns before you even migrate into this shade of orange, because this is orange. So what is undertones? Undertone is the hyperpigmentation, the very small particle of color that makes up the color you can see on the skin. And undertone is divided into 2. I mean, tone rather, generally divided into 2, which is undertone and overtone. So undertone is the general color on the body, the most appeared color on the body, while overtone is the color that caused due to probably whether too much heat or a lot of cosmetic products or reaction or all those things, or pregnancy. They can tend to make the face look darker and the body lighter, or the body darker and the face lighter. So we do not want to judge by that. So how do we get our undertone? We always get our undertone basically by checking here, the hand, the color of this. So if we take this and swap it together, we can see that, okay, this place is actually lighter than here. So what do? We have to match with this. Give me infallible. I'm so this makeup artist that will do your makeup, they don't match you, right?
No.
So I'm using infallible. This is infallible from L'Oreal Cosmetics, and I'm going to be adding a little here also. So these are 3 different types of foundation. This is a minimum coverage foundation. This is a matte to dewy kind of foundation, and this is a very, very matte foundation. I'm using this and I'm taking a bit of this and I'm mixing it with this to turn it down a bit. Because this is like a lighter shade of brown. Now that's a color. Bring your hands up. That's a color. So we're going to use this. We're going to spread it all over the face now. Bend it down. Okay. I'm going to spread it all over the face. So while I'm also applying my foundation, I'm going to try and make sure that the foundation is over the skin. In as much as we hate to admit it, makeup is actually a mask and it's not supposed to go into the pores of your skin. Nothing, like I said, should go into the pores of your skin. The pores of your skin was created to push things out, like sweat and all that. Nothing was created to go into it. Are you fine? Yeah. So while blending, I'm going to blend with so much ease. It looks like I'm going really fast, but like I'm putting a lot of pressure, but I'm actually not. I'm blending with very, very minimal pressure because, like I said, I want the foundation to stay over the skin. That's how we're going to get our flawless, glow-like finish. But when the foundation is going into the skin, into the pores, we're still going to have a lot of opening showing, and I don't want that. I want my foundation to look like toy.
very clean and very good. So blending all over into the ear also. Everywhere has to be matched correctly. Everywhere has to match correctly. So there's a difference between low lighting and high lighting. What a lot of Nigerians know here is low lighting. That's what we do, 2 shades lighter. So highlighting is when you migrate your undertone from your color, from your undertone color to another undertone color, but not with a great distance though. Like if she's a lighter shade of brown, do you understand? When I lighten, I can use like 2 shades lighter, 4 shades lighter, then 6 shades lighter, which is probably another undertone generally, and the flow of blend is seamless. I'm going to show you guys how I'm working on the dry skin person. But for now, I'm going to be low lighting. Look attentively. So I'm going to blend into the neck also. We don't want any part of the face looking really, really different. Fine. You can see that seamless blend into the neck. So because I added a little bit of dark shade here, it's looking really, really dark. So I'm going to brighten it up a bit more by adding more foundation. So in case you didn't get what I used before, I used L'Oreal Infallible. Give me the L'Oreal, let me show them please. What shade is it?
520.
So L'Oreal Infallible in 520. And I use the V foundation in Ebony. I mix both together to get undertone right. So you can see how here it looks a bit dry than the other part of the skin. And you can see how here it's actually sucking more foundation than the other part of the skin. That is why oil is very, very necessary. So imagine everywhere is not dry. Your foundation will just be stuck up and the face will just be cracking. And people wondering, why is my foundation cracking? So the only reason why I will mattify an oily person's skin so well is because she has enough oil on her skin to even make my makeup blend. So I'm blending it, oil is coming out. That's why I will apply a mattifying primer and not shake or move out of fear. Blend down, blend to the neck region. How many minutes is it really, please? Stop. And start again. Hello everyone, welcome to this section of this class. This is my model essay. I'm very sure she introduced herself earlier. And yes, let's get straight into business. Skin. So as Essay told us earlier, she has a mixed skin, which means some parts of her face is oily, while some part is dry. And we can see by the presence of shine that the places that are oily is the center of the nose, a bit here on this side, stretching down here is oily. I can see the pores in the skin, on that area too is a bit really, really open. So I'm going to zoom it up really close, turn. Exactly. You can see the pores on the skin really open on that area, and you can see the other section of the skin, the pores really, really tight. So how do you identify somebody with an oily skin or somebody with a dry skin? It is how porous the pores is on Jesus Christ, English. How porous the pores is on the face. So the more pore opening present on the face is more prone they are to secreting oil. So the more tighter the pores look, the more closer they are to having a dry skin. But note this, nobody is completely dry and nobody is completely oily. They just have to be a balance. It's just the closer you are to being dry, people tend to call it dry skin, and the closer you are to being oily, people tend to call you oily skin, because oil is the very essence of skin in itself. It helps in rejuvenation, it helps in healing, it helps in a lot of things. It helps preserving, it helps keeping moisture and hydration on the skin. So oil is very necessary. So we are not taking the importance of oil out. I want you guys to know that it is as important as your makeup also being mattified. So in that essence, in what I said, no product doesn't have oil. Even the mattest form of primer has a bit of oil inside. It's just the amount of oil present in it is very, very, very minimal. So for her, I'm going to be creating a mid-texture look. A mid-texture look, which means the look is not going to be too dewy or too matte. It's just going to be... What I'm going to be teaching you here, I'm not saying that this skin type I'm doing for her, you can't do it for somebody on the oily skin or a dry skin. Because what I'm trying to teach you is control, the ability to choose what you want to do for your client, no matter their skin texture, skin tones, and skin types. So obviously I will not be able to cover all the knowledge I've gathered over the years, but I'm going to try as much as possible as to compartmentalize it, Abby. Right? Is that correct? Compartmentalize. Suppress. Give me English, give me word. Suppress, Abby. Ify, Professor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to suppress the knowledge I have in a few hours, and I hope condense it in a few hours. So please enjoy these classes. It's going to be really, really eye-opening. So I'm going to be using Teos micellar water to clean the skin. Why am I using this micellar water to clean the skin? So we want to have an hydrating effect, which means I want the skin to be able to retain water. That is what most makeup artists don't get. Hydration and moisturizing are two different things. Hydration is the presence of water, while moisturizing is the presence of oil on the skin. So we go out and we get micellar water that just dries out the skin, taking out the oil on the skin and not actually replenishing it back. And when we do the makeup end up looking all dry and all cracked and all scaly. You want to have a matte look, so you matte everything up. That is wrong. With no oil present on the skin, blending is going to be almost impossible. Because oil helps the flow of foundation, spread of foundation on the skin. So we need it, but we just need to put it at the right places. That's what we're going to do. So I'm using this micellar water to remove the dirt of the skin. I'll also leave the skin hydrated. That is why I use this particular micellar water from Teos Beauty brand. So it doesn't just clean the skin, it leaves it really, really, really looking refreshed. So I'm going to be taking a bit of my wipes, put a little of this there, and I'm going to clean the whole skin all around. Clean your skin all around, making sure the dirt is going out. I'm going to leave the skin just like this to dry up, to leave it hydrated. So we don't want to take out the old, like I said, we don't want to take out the old oil on the skin. So this particular micellar water leaves it moisturized. It doesn't just cleanse and take away the dirty oil, it also leaves it moisturized and hydrated. So for her, I use two basic type of moisturizers. I use an oil-based moisturizer, and I use a collagen-based moisturizer. So this collagen and the pure oil, there are two forms of oil, but one is lighter while one is harder. So softer oil tend to go into the skin, penetrate into the skin more than harder oil. But trust me, all moisturizers have oil in them. That is the basics of a moisturizer. That's the basics of a moisturizer. All moisturizers have oil in them. Like this particular moisturizer from TM Essential is made from mango butter, avocado butter, almond oil, and all this oil. So this is a hard oil, and this just stays over the skin. So I use this basically for people with dry skin, because people with dry skin have almost no ability to secrete oil on their skin. That is why their skin is dry. So I use this to supplement that, so I can have a balance of an equation. We do not want to apply a mattifying primer on somebody with dry skin and go in with a mattifying foundation. We end up making that makeup a total mess. Then to the neck tone. Good. taking an overall powder brush and just brushing down underneath the chin, into the ear, forehead, for a more seamless blend into the side. Turn to the side also. You can see that seamless blend of that skin. That is what we want to achieve. Tone for tone. Good tone. That's good. So to highlight, I'm going to be using Younger Beauty concealers in Swiss. Younger Beauty concealers in Swiss 5. So you can see this is a brown shade, but it's like a very, very light shade of brown. You see that undertone range. I'm going to be using this to work now. Using it to work on her. Okay. Blend out. So because this is just 2 shades lighter and it's in undertone range, when you blend, it's going to be the blend is going to be really, really seamless. I would have done under shades lighter to explain, but I don't have time to start cleaning my foundation again. Starting from the scratch. So because these 2 shades are going to blend seamlessly, sides are going to blend seamlessly into the skin compared to when you use like 4 shades lighter. So you can just notice that, okay, this place is looking brighter, but it still doesn't look off. It's looking brighter, it doesn't look the same with the other part of the skin, but it still doesn't look off. Why? Because this is actually what they call 2 shades lighter. But some of you are going to carry something like this, I call it 2 shades lighter. Auntie, how is this 2 shades lighter than this, auntie? Fear God. So you blend into the eye region, blend really well. So another way you can make your low light pop is you can add a little more. So the more you use your foundation, the more intensified they look and the more brighter they appear. They are the same shade, but they look brighter. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Blend into the nose region, blend into the eyes. While blending, blend really, really soft, please. Nobody is fighting with you. And you don't want to pack plenty products on your skin. I'm not a fan of too much products, except I really, really need to. Underneath here also. Still using the Younger Beauty concealers to do this. So now for me, texture skin, how do I mattify? So powder and setting powder is a form of a mattifier, not just your primer. Powder is a form of mattifier. So I'm going to do pro-setting. I'm going to pro-setting the face. So I'm going to pro-setting the face. And to pro-set the face, I'm going to be using Zickel Beauty Powder Palette. And I'm going to be looking for a shade that is not too light. So you can see this is even wonderful. This is even a well categorized undertone chart. So here we have the neutrals, here we have the warm and warm. You can see the neutral. You have the neutral migrating like this into the warm, into the cool, into the cool. So I'm going to be using this shade here, golden bronze, which is like almost similar shade to the concealer I use. to process. Okay. So processing is when you use a talc powder to hold your highlights in place so that you can maintain color, so that your setting powder does not ruin the color that you have in mind to achieve. Because most setting powder has a generalized undertone. Probably they are really bright yellows or dark cinnamon and all that. So when you use your powder to process first, it locks in the tone of the skin into it. So when you now use a setting powder over it, it doesn't really affect the color that you had in mind to create. All these makeup artists that you should have a finished look in your head before you start. It helps in making your makeup application and journey a lot easier. So if you notice, I am basically processing under the eyes, which is our highlight point, of course, and I'm also processing these areas that has a lot of pore opening, that area that actually primed, which is the nose. Yeah. Which is the nose. You can see how mattified it is, even without a lot of this thing. Because that primer already mattified it already down for us. So passing Merak cosmetic setting powder in cinnamon. I'm going to be processing under the chin too, under the nose. So I'm using this BM Pro brush, BM Pro Tapad brushes. I get it from BM Pro Cosmetics. Look up. What do you see? Can I set it back now, please? So I'm using Merak setting powder, Merak from Merak Cosmetics. This is my beloved setting powder. I love this setting powder. I love the pigment. It's so light, and it stays in on the skin and gives that flawless glow-like finish, and it's easy to also dust off, which is one of the favorite things I like about any setting powder. If it's not easy to take away, I don't want you. Look up. So I'm using this underneath the eyes in this area. I'm being careful on how I spread them. So if you notice the shade of this beauty blender, of this setting powder, it is brown, but it is a very bright shade of brown. A very bright shade of brown. So imagine us using this first without putting our powder to process. By the time we take this off, our under eye will be looking this bright. And yeah, I do not really want that. So what that powder does is that it helps us maintain our tonal quality that we had underneath the eye and before. So you can see how this is even entering the skin like it's a regular powder. That's how I really like my setting powder to look. So I'm pushing it on all the areas I mattified earlier, or areas I processed on my highlight region. And I'm going to be using a general powder now all over the skin. You know, go and look at that skin wall. That skin wall is amazing. It's amazing. So I'm using a powder. I'm using Cafe for our general skin, and I'm using a BM Pro brush. Cafe from ZKL Cosmetics, and I'm using a BM Pro powder brush on the skin. I take a little and I just push very mildly. I don't put too much powder on the skin. You don't have to put too much powder on the skin. Like I said, makeup is not supposed to be too mattified. If it's too mattified, then there's a problem. So you have to give a strict balance between both. And this is the area that is actually supposed to be oily, because this area doesn't secrete oil that much. So we really want the foundations to still look a bit dewy and refreshed on those areas. Fine. This shade in the Ezekiel palette, the Neo, to contour the nose, and I'm going to be doing light shade of contouring from down here, here, mildly. So this is a skin focus class. I'm going to do a little bit of structuring too. So just look attentively. So I'm going to be doing a mild structuring of the skin, which means the contour of the nose is not going to be really, really vivid. I'm going to just brush through and create that illusion quickly. I'll use the same brush I used for applying the powder, and I'm going to just brush over the cheek quickly from here down to add a bit of shadow to give the face like a bit of lift up. Upwards. So while blending it, I'm making sure that it's on top of the skin. I'm not pushing with so much pressure because I don't want the colors to be really, really intense, so that it doesn't look like I have hash lines on my contour area. Side of the forehead, under the ear. That's good. Using a bigger powder brush from the Pro also, and the same general powder I used for earlier. I'm brushing all over the face again for more blending. I see how simple that contour is. So this is the contour I use basically when I do not want to do too much for my clients, but I don't want my contour looking really vivid. So I do 3 types of contour. I do a finish contour, I do a medium contour, and I do a fade off contour. So this is a fade off contour. This is a fade off contour. So I'm going to do a little bit of eye work, so you guys see. Give me an 10 essential, please. I think 10 essential rather. Younger Beauty eyeshadow palette. Thank you. So this is not part of the class, but I'm going to do a little of this to just give my eye work a bit of dimension. So it doesn't just look like I'm just applying nothing on the eyes. So I'm using Younger Beauty eyeshadow palette. Younger Beauty eyeshadow palette from Younger Beauty. I'm using a tapered brush from Vitabel to apply. Just like very little, and I'm spreading all over. There's nothing on the eyes, just moisturizer. Even the foundation, I don't think it's a lot. Just brushing it off with my brush earlier. There's nothing on the eyes, just this.
want you guys to practice this on your models. Practice this skin work before you adapt it into your everyday makeup routine. Don't go and try your clients to know I just gonna start it too. Practice first. If you know you don't do it before, practice first before trying them out. Look up. Again. So I'm smudging under the eye a bit. Like I said, this is not part of the class. I'm just doing this for extra dimension. Look at the skin, God. Look at the skin. Look at the skin. So beautiful. So beautiful. I'm going to be using the same shade I used for the eyes to darken the side of the lip more. You might leave a bit of contouring. I'm using the BM Pro brush to do that also. I say nothing serious. Just this. Let me two. Taking a bit of the foundation I used earlier to blend the sides more, to make it more skin looking. Give me a gloss there, please. Taking gloss from Top Glam Cosmetics. I'm going to add a bit of gloss on the lips. Come on. Mascara. So you guys can see how the setting powder is on the face. I'm not even bothered on treating that's going to overbake or overcook. Because the setting powder is actually very, very light. Look up. Very, very, very light. So I'm very look up. Thank you. Pass me brow brush there, please. Guys, look at that skin work. You can see how underneath the eyes is maintaining that dryness. And you can see how the vanished out here also still mattified even after a while. So this makeup is actually going to last a long time and it's not going to move, and it's not going to crack. Because the skin prep is actually prepped on the areas that are actually needed. Okay. So I'm taking an edge control and a brow brush, and I'm going to be thinning my brows down. Give me general powder, please. The next is powder to cleanse off all the setting powder I've applied. You see how easily they have even disappeared on their own self. Dusting off all the setting powder area. After this, I'm going to use my Morph continuous spray, to set the face and set the skin in. So this is like a mattifying spray. I'm going to use it to set the skin in. Use my beauty blender and push into the skin more, so that any vivid powder that's too much can disappear. So, good. Turn back. Thank you. Let's apply a bit of blush. I'm using Egan Esther Lip in Lagos Party to apply this blush, and it is a matte blush, so forgive me please. Yeah. have to blend quickly before it dries off completely. Auntie Shadia. Auntie Shadia with the blush. Please, you don't have to use this much blush, so I'm just using it. You can go lesser. You can go lesser. This is the choice. This is a choice, so not compulsory. But everything I'm teaching you is a choice. You can decide to try everything in the garden. But this is what I do for my work, so I want to show you guys. If you think it's useful, fine. If you think it's not, please feel free to throw it away. More editorials actually. Blend, blend, keep blending, keep blending. Use general powder brush over for more blending dimensions. Done. Turn back to the camera. Turn to the other side. Come back to the camera. Thank you. So now I'm going to be using Baby Brightening Perfect Makeup Highlighter to highlight for my model. So I use two different types of highlighters. I use cream highlighters and I use powder highlighter. Like I said, depending on what look I'm creating or for what skin and type. So I'm using this shade here, this shade here, in the warm family. So I'm just using a little of this. I'm going to blend. I'm going to blend really, really well. Soft blend it. You don't just want to carry it and put it everywhere. You want to put it on areas that light will actually hit it. So, soft blend it in. Airbrush it. In English you want it to use. Airbrush it. Look up. In the area the light is going to hit it. Good. So highlighters, they add light to your makeup. You don't want to put too much, because if you put too much, makeup will start looking lighter than it should. You don't want that. So you have to be very, very minimal with it. Put it on areas the light is going to hit it, like I said. Brush off and blend. Brush off and blend. It's me. Turn out to the other side. Same process here. Also,
Like I said, this is the shade I'm using. This is in the Cool family. Because highlighters still have shades. So if you go and buy one Fenty Beauty, that Fenty Beauty, use it for everybody. Highlighter has shades, please. Use the right color for the right person. As in, you can do one highlighter for everybody. Highlighter has shades. Setting powders, they have shades too. Please get everything you want to get. Chin down. You can see where I position my light on the nose. That's where it's supposed to be. Not too much. Just perfect. So this is how I achieve my mid-texture skin. Not too dewy, not too matte. Just very, very good in the middle. So there was one auntie that came to my TM prior to the class. I was like, please sir, don't use all your expensive products. So for us that we have some money, can you see the things I'm using? Like I said, if it pay you that I'm not using food, you can throw the knowledge in the dustbin. This is what I use to achieve this seamless blend. So this is how I achieve my mid-texture skin type. Any questions you have about this look, drop them down. This is how I achieve my mid-texture skin type for my cool undertone and clients. Turn to the side. Good. Turn to the other side too. Yeah. Look at me. So I'm going to drop all the handles of all the products I used down there and beneath this post, beneath this class session. So get them, and I want to see your makeup better. Thank you guys. Say hi. So there's one auntie that was in.
Nice, look at the camera. Nice, look away.